Hey YouTube, just going to run through some small practice amps that I've acquired. This is a Behringer. It's plugged in so the cable can't actually get any closer than this. So I don't know, maybe if you've got a big screen you can read it, or you can look it up on eBay or something like that. It's a gm108 15 watts true analog modelling amplifier. Thing of note here is 3 wee mini switches here, which are very similar to a pedal I used to have called I think it was called a V-Tone, which was like a DI box. So you get this one as a amp. So you get California, British or Tweed, which would be Mesa Boogie, Marshall, Fender, something like that. Mode, which is a clean, high gain and hot, which is which distortion level you want. And then a speaker simulator at the end, so you get flat, UK and US. So I think you're probably talking some sort of EQ type thing. So I've replaced my I've not replaced it. The Laney's now sitting on the floor, and I'm going to use this guitar, which if you watch the first one of these videos, I reckon this is the best beginner's guitar you can get. Yes, I've painted this one a silly colour, and I've added extra switches. I'll not be using the extra switches, and I'll not be using the extra paint though. So if you imagine this being black, you've got there now, all I need is a lead, which I've got one here. And I'm going to just try and be very quick. I'm already a minute and a half in. Right, I'm going to try and be very quick and just run these wee mini amps. Well, I suppose you could argue it's not really a mini amp, is it? It's just a practice amp. So this one doesn't have effects on it. It's 15 watts rather than 10 watts. I'm just going to see what it sounds like and quite important to me is how easy it is to use. Although I'm standing in front of it, the mic's there, so it should be fine. And I'm just going this guitar straight in. So if I go to put all those wee mini switches to 0, so we're tweed, clean and flat. And one of the reasons I'm using this guitar is because it's got sort of strat sounds in the middle 3 positions on the switch, and then humbuckers on either end for the sort of rock. So I'm going to try and put the volume on it. So here we go, just straight in, all the knobs are at sort of half. That's position 2, position 4. And already that sounds pretty good. So already, to be honest, it's passed. Not having to fidget with it like mad to get a semi-decent sound, and I'm quite happy with that. Got a bit more volume on it. So, I mean, yes, that's a good sounding wee amp. And I think if you gave Eric Clapton this guitar and that amp, it would sound amazing, and you wouldn't know unless you were looking at it that he was playing through budget stuff. So you're talking, this is well within £100 for the lead, for the guitar and the amp and the lead if you're buying second hand. Maybe I'm actually going to sell this guitar, maybe even with the amp. I've done some mods to this, so I might charge a wee bit more for it though. So clean, total pass. That's kind of the first thing, and ease of use, well, that was easy. So on this one, rather than having a distortion channel, you've got like these 3 wee mini dip switches I was talking about. So if we go to, if I change the speaker cabinet, oh right, so that's me changing the speaker from flat to UK. That's a wee bit like a better switch. Well, maybe not. Let's put the volume up a little bit. switch is maybe a wee bit better. Not as good. No, I would choose the UK sound for the clean. But again, the thing which I think is important here is the fact that I've not really turned anything, and although there's been variants in the sound with flipping the switch, none of them were useless or, oh god, how do I get a good sound? They're all good sounds. So if I change the gain to high gain, and then turn the volume down a little bit to make up for it. So now I'll use the humbuckers on the guitar. But that's it on tweed setting, so that's like a Fender, so if I flip that to Marshall, what happens? It does sound more like a Marshall than it did a minute ago. Let's pick up. And as I said at the start, there's actually a gain at the start, so if I gain that down a little bit, so that's a gain at nothing. Again, a good sound, even so if I totally down the gain, turn the volume down a bit. Yeah, so basically it's a pass. I could, in a situation where I was, all my stuff had to get fumigated or something, and I had to be, I had to survive a month with just a guitar and an amp, I'm happy. I'd be able to do everything I would normally do with that. I would like a loop pedal in there, but that's more expensive. That doesn't really come into your £100 beginner rig type thing. Learning on this, absolutely no problem at all. I have to say that the gain actually is not really making that much difference. So that's like a full drive to no drive. But I mean, not really complaining. If you've got one decent clean sound and one decent distorted sound, that's what you need. Everything else is just great. So I'll try the California, which is a Mesa Boogie. Oh, that's a bit more Metallica, isn't it? Don't like that as much as the Marshall sounds. But none of them are bad sounds. I suppose I'll go for the Hot, which is the most distorted, even though for me that's pretty much as distorted as I would ever go. So what does super distorted sound like? It's just for things that are heavier than what I like. Yeah, so I was going to try and keep this to 10 minutes, so I'll just be slightly over. But yes, a worthy little amp. If you're buying your £100 beginner package, you could maybe blow a little bit more, get a slightly nicer guitar than this one. When I say nicer, I just mean one in better condition, or newer, or even new. These things are, I looked them up on eBay, I think. I don't know how much they cost new, but I think you can pick them up. eBay's kind of strange, because you look at things and you go, oh look, there's one sold for, 15 quid, 20 quid. They're always pick up only. So I think maybe you're talking 30, 40 quid, including delivery, to get something like that all the time on eBay. That's what I'm saying, why I chose this guitar as my perfect beginner's guitar. Because if you wanted to buy a guitar this week or next week, you're going to be able to find one of these. Whereas, even if I was going to suggest some of the other ones I've got, there's not always 10 on eBay. Even when that was a guitar there I was going to use for these demos, because that's my newest one and I love it. There is actually one of them on eBay just now, but they're not on all the time, whereas there's always lots of these, and I'm pretty sure there's probably normally a few of them. Behringer are good. They just basically steal complete ideas from other people. I think that may be like a Roland or something like that, I don't know, but I don't think they've got an original range really. It's just kind of stuff pinched off really expensive stuff and then churned out. But I mean, for a mini guitar amp, that's an awful lot better than the wee 10 watt one. Just going, and what you're listening to is just the mic is over there. You listen to that. I'm using, well, it's not plugged in anymore. It's just a lead straight into the amp. No other fancy, not an expensive guitar. No upgrades on the guitar apart from the paint job. So yes, I could live with that being my amp. No problem. If I had to send one away for a month or something, I'd be fine with that. So that's video 1. I don't know how many more of these videos I'll do. I might do another one tonight, I don't know. It took me so long to do the original video. I mean, I'm talking 20 attempts, I just couldn't do it. Even the one that I did do, I kind of rearranged it all and sat in the ground and stuff and did it, and it was just not that keen on it. This is a bit more normal. So yes, Behringer V-Tone, totally. I would buy that. And again, if I was going to buy it for my... It doesn't have effects on it though, that one. Which, although I'm not a big fan of effects anyway, I would never... I've got... You can see the pedals on the floor, they're never turned on. I'll never really use a distortion pedal, and that's got a distortion thing on it. The one difference, actually pretty much the reason I use distortion pedals and I don't just use the gain channel in my amp, is the loop pedal, because I like, when you record stuff into the loop pedal, the loop pedal's before the amp, so if I've got distortion on the amp, then that's, the rhythm track I put down is distorted, and then the guitar I play over the top's distorted. Whereas if you put, and if you've got the amp on clean, you play away, you've got a clean rhythm track, and you can only play clean over the top, because as soon as you put distortion on, it'll distort the pedal as well. So what you want is a foot pedal creating distortion before the loop pedal, so you can record it clean and then overdub with a distortion pedal on. So without, if loop pedals didn't exist, or I didn't have one, or I decided I didn't want one, then that would be all I would need, and that's you 100% up and running, proper, not gig ready, well gig ready, but you don't take your amp. I wouldn't gig, I don't think you'd get away with gigging with that. But I mean, I've seen stranger things. The keyboard player in my band years ago used to use a wee 10 watt, a wee tiny amp that just sat on the floor, just as a monitor. Obviously the keyboard was plugged into the PA, but he had his wee amp just sitting there, just so that he could always hear himself, and it was fine for that. I'm not saying that the sound coming out of that wee amp was maybe anything like as good as what was coming out of the PA, but at least he could hear it. So you can sit there and go, well, at least you're not sitting there and not being able to hear it. So okay, so the 10 minutes became 15 minutes very quickly. Behringer, top notch, coming up for sale soon. I've not decided yet how I'm going to tier the prices for them. I'm not really going to look and see how much they cost new or how much they cost second hand. I'm more just going to go by how much I think they're worth. Starting at like a tenner for the basic model, and then going up. So that's a bit more than a tenner, whatever I sell it for. Rock and roll.